Section 4, Part B. On the right side, towards the very bottom, you're going to have your vehicle information. You notice there's a little notepad here, this yellow one. It's just letting you know we put some notes on it. It's an early production model. Here is going to be the customer information. This customer happens to have a receivable account with me. It lets me know the limit, their balance, and what they have available. On the right side also, you're going to have what we call tags. Here she's shop supplies exempt. So if I click it, I can change it. Oh, this is coming from the contact. So that means if I want to change it, I have to actually open the contact, not the work order. Duration is labor hours on the ticket, my in and out mileage. Now you will always have an in and an out. Now if the in and the out are the same, that's perfectly fine. It just typically prints one mileage on the invoice. But if you want to document test driving, for example, there you go. You got an in and out. If you don't have the correct mileage here, or if it's more or less than the last time it was in, especially if it's less than the last time it was in, it will flag it to let you know. Technician, service writer, where am I at? Maybe I've already gotten the job approved, so I say the estimate's completed or the work is authorized, whatever the case may be. You're going to be normal, that's a normal work order. We also have what we call whole goods, which is for rebuilding and things like that. Promise out time and appointment time. And then what do they owe? Outstanding, and what's the total? On the top ribbon, far left, you have a save and close. In other words, I can close this work order up. And again, I can tell it what the status is here. Save just saves everything without leaving the work order. Post, I want to turn it to an invoice. I got a quick print, mail, email, PDF, print preview. If I need to add more jobs, I can add more jobs here to the work order. I can look at deferred work. Again, we're going to go into detail deferred work, reminders, and intervals at a later date, further on in the training. Do I want to document authorizations? Gives you a date and timestamp, how you got a hold of them, type in anything else you need to type in here, and then how much are they authorizing. And if I hit OK, it's just letting you know that job is authorized. We'll get into disclaimers and all this at a later date. At the very top, you're going to see a utility tab. This is Carfax service history. You can access your pro demand here, fluid capacities, vehicle specs, tire fitment. Now, this is the same thing as if I go over here to the right and just click on the little blue car. See, I can edit information here. When I'm done, I just hit done. But here I have invoices, fluid capacities, specs, tire fitment. If I click it, see there's my tire fitment guide. Now the nice thing about this and the spec pages, I can actually copy and paste this. So if I need to go put the lug nut torque spec for my tech on here, I can. I click, hold my control key, click again. I'm going to go down here and copy. And I'll just go over to the labor line, for example, on the brake job, right click and paste. See, now I have it documented right on the ticket. It'll be right on the invoice. Service package. This is typically used for people that have tablets. You know, a lot of times on tablets, you can left click, but you can't right click and get all the features. So that's what this is here. All right, let's go finish this off. So once technician comes back and says he's completed the job, then what you want to do is kind of get in the habit of checking everything first. In other words, are all the lines fulfilled properly? And an easy way to do this is just simply hit post. Post does a self-check. So it's going to look at all the lines on the ticket. And it's going to let you know, oh, wait a minute, work order cannot be posted when there are error messages. So you see on these two lines, not enough quantity, not enough quantity. In other words, we have failed to receive the pads and rotors in. So I'm going to hit cancel. So I must receive them in. In other words, I must bring them onto the work order so I can finish up the ticket and be able to post it out. Now, since I did order them online, I can go here to purchases. When these show up, all I simply have to do is just click on either one of the parts, it doesn't matter, and open my purchase order. See, the system automatically creates a purchase order whenever you order online. Here's my work order number, verify the supplier invoice number, and you can even change cost if you need to or something like that. And then you just receive all. And then it will move it to order received. So if I go back to my work order, they're all done. Before we post this out, let's talk about how do you manually receive a part. This was through a catalog. This part here was through inventory. But what if I have to pick up the phone and call and order something in? I have to be able to manually enter that in the system. So I'm just going to add a line here. I'm going to right click. I'm going to add a part line. So think of this as an empty part spot. It has no definition. I had to call and let's say I had to order a bracket or something, or maybe some caliper pins, and I did not order them online or have them in inventory. So real simple. I'm going to come in here and I can put in what it is. Okay. So if I say they're caliper pins, if I have a part number at this point, I can put it in. I don't have to. What is my cost? Let's say it's $15.50. I'm going to hit tab on my keyboard. What is the quantity? Here's what it's going to sell it for. Now, when I hit OK, I have not received them yet. I just added the line. So when these parts arrive, I double click, open the line, and I receive. So this is manual receiving. The system is just automatically doing this when you're ordering online. Where here I'm manually going to put it in. So I'm going to put in whatever the part number is. Who am I buying this from? You know, it might have been the Ford dealer or something. And then what is my invoice number? Verify what did I get? How much did it cost me? Hit OK. So that is a manual receive. That's the two different ways you're going to get parts on here. Order online and order and receive it in, or manually receive it in. Okay, let's go check and see if we can post it now. So this is what we want. Our goal is to get to this screen, the outgoing mileage. Now, these reminders, we'll talk about this at a later date and how to book appointments off of here, but that's what you want. So at this point, I know it's ready to go. So I hit cancel. Now I can contact the customer, let them know it's time to come pick up their vehicle. It's done. And I want to save it, and I'm going to move it to work completed. And you'll notice, see, now it turns green. So everything has been fulfilled on this. Once the customer comes to pick up the vehicle, I double click. Now, sometimes people want to pre-print stuff, so you can do a pre-print of an authorization page if you want. You can't pre-print an invoice because it's point of sale. It will not issue the invoice number till you post it, till you finalize it. So here we go, post. We're not going to make an appointment at this point in time. I'm going to hit next. Now, how are they paying? So these are your different payment methods, depending on what you have in your system. Now you notice down here on the bottom, she has an account. So if I want to put it on account, I certainly can. And when I do that, It'll even tell you what their limit is and how much they can charge. Okay, so what if we don't want to put it on account? We just say who it is, how it is, they're paying. They'll say they're paying $500 on the Visa and the rest with a check. That's fine too. Click, select again. There you go. So the only thing we care about here is we want to get this amount to zero one way or the other, whether it's on account or however they're paying for it, or many different ways they're paying for it. Now, if you make a mistake, you can click it and hit remove, and then just go choose something else. If you select cash and hit add, you will have to put in which tendered. I just put in, say, 500. It will even give you the change. And then you hit next. What do you want to print and or email? Now the default here is to print one copy of something. And then this will be set up by your store owner or manager on how they're going to do this. And basically you can print whatever you want or email it. If I do an email also, it'll print it and email it. Now, if I have an email and I select this, but nothing comes across here, then at this point in time, I can click. That opens up the contact card and I can go put in their email. Or if it's just a one time, I can just straight type it in an email. So we're not going to print anything here. I'm going to hit post. Now we'll have a finalized invoice. See, now it issues the invoice number, different from a work order number. You'll notice that this ticket is now gone here. You cannot find invoices here unless you go search through the find. But if I go over to the work order screen, which is the work in progress, you'll see down here on the bottom left, here's your invoices. And I can open these up and look at an invoice here, reprint it, email it, whatever I need to do. Again, point of sale just simply means I cannot alter the money. You can't change this once it's invoiced. So now that we're done with the invoice, let's go talk about two other things. First of all, let's go cover templates. So what exactly is a template? So to understand that, let me take you over to the home ribbon and we're going to go into setup. So we have the capability in our system of creating what we call work order templates. So a template can be utilized to start a work order, but in a certain fashion or with jobs on it already. So this is what we call a quick ticket. Here we're just looking at contact and service item. We're going to search them, and then as soon as we find them, we hit select. It will start a blank work order for me. Here we have a digital inspection. Now this one is set up so when I go to start the work order with the template, I'll look up the customer, the vehicle, and then when I get to the screen where I have concerns and inspections and services, this will automatically pull up my digital inspection. So I don't have to search for it. It'll be there all the time. On this template, this is called a work order editor. What this is doing is when I click on this template, it will immediately start a work order with no name on it. So it's going to be strictly a counter sale, and then I can assign a name if I want to. So let's go see how they look. So I go to my split, and you'll see here are all my templates. So a quick ticket, as an example, I go look up the customer. I'm going to go select the vehicle. And then when I hit select at the top, it immediately just starts the work order with no jobs on it. Then at this point here, I can start adding any concerns, inspections, or services that I wish. On my digital inspection, I have it set up so that, again, I find my customer, select the vehicle. Now I'm going to go down to the bottom right and I'm going to hit next. And here it's going to already have the inspection at the beginning of the write-up of the work order. The third option or third style of template is going to be an immediate ticket. So here it started a work order, and you'll look over to the right, you'll notice there's no customer. So this could be like a cash sale over the counter. Now you can also reassign. Reassign just simply means that I want to go find a name of somebody, business or a name, and assign it to this work order. We will get more into detail in reassigning in the next series of videos. The last thing I want to make sure you understand in here, and this is a very important lesson to learn, is anytime you have a work order and you're ordering parts or bringing in parts. So here we have ordered an oil filter for this work order. I'm going to go receive it. Click, open my purchase order, check it in, make sure I have my invoice, my supplier invoice number, and I'm going to receive. So if the one rule you want to remember in here, if nothing else, is when you receive an item, when an item shows up, I'm going to receive it in a work order or into inventory, but mainly into work orders. If the part is wrong, if the part is not needed after all, whatever the case may be, customer may have changed their mind, you always receive. This is the golden rule in this system. If you don't receive it, you'll never have a record of it. And that's very important. So once I receive it, I can simply right-click on it and return it. I'm telling the system I'm going to return it back to the vendor. And it's going to put it into a return item holding area. So you always want to receive your parts. Once you receive them, you can always return them. This is the end of Section 4, Part B. Thank you for listening.